So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. We're just going to start with looking at
this video. Sorry, this video is kind of an update on the Ethan Klein versus Hassan lawsuit. What do you guys think? Do you think he's gonna win?
Video, and this is I'm suing these 3 creators, right? And spoiler alert, I am not one of those 3 creators. So
this one's by Legal Mindset.
My favorite hobby is spending hundreds of
I have a
thousands
severe
of
video.
dollars.
Hold on. Squirrel says Leaf has a severe phobia of videos over 7 minutes. No, it's because if I watch a video, it's gonna end, like I'm gonna end up watching it for like twice to 3 times the amount of time. That's why. And if I want to watch Twisted, then I'm gonna run out of time, right?
Today, I invite you into my home.
Okay, first little comment here. And by the way, I am going to be pausing this all the way through. We're not going to just do a full watch through with I don't pause.
Does he talk about the whole thing?
The lawsuit, and the lawsuits could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but honestly, the way he's dealing with it, he could probably get this done under 100K if he wanted to. And by the way, there are lawyers that will take this on a part contingency. So I'm not sure which lawyers he's working with, but it's possible that he could get this done for under 100K. So I don't know about hundreds of thousands of dollars, but okay.
Home to share my favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney. Let me tell you guys.
Yeah, and by the way, I see people in the chat saying, "Is it burning money illegal?" I don't think that was.
That wasn't probably not real. Yeah.
Real money. I think that was a prop. I'm pretty sure that was a prop.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that. It actually is illegal to burn money, but yeah, like I mean, you could just print like a thing that looks like $1 as long as you're not intending to use it for, counterfeit purposes.
Right. About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called ReactGate. ReactGate was a debate going on in the streaming community about what constituted fair use. People like Hassan, XQC,
I don't know anything about reacting.
Twitch streamers would watch other creators' entire video on their stream. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak. Most egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube with the same thumbnail, the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta do my Hassan LARP. All right, guys.
Yeah. Here's what.
So that.
All right, chat.
Okay. Let's
all right, chat. I gotta use the restroom. Peace out.
Let's start with some basic principles because he's building a foundation here. So at the core of copyright, and of course, this is a very fundamental point.
I need a chair though. Hold on, I need a chair.
You start the moment you create a work. But at the
Thank you for the bits,
analysis,
Jason.
I'm going to really break it down.
I need a chair. I need it. Hold on. I think I got one. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Guys, do I want a pink chair? That's ooh as fuck, right? You go with like a pink one, like super fucking ooh. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. All right. Put that right there. Like right there. There we go. Peace. All right. Oh crap. It's connected to me. Okay. All right. There we go.
Okay.
Now I can do it.
Got your protections, but there is this exemption. There is this exception for fair use. Now, fair use is a case-by-case analysis. Every single video is different. So while one video may be fair use, another one might not. And 2 judges can look at the same video, and one could think the commentary is fair use, and one could think it's not. So it's very difficult to nail a copyright case and say, yep, that one is transformative and that one's not.
Jay, thank you
However,
for the bits.
what he is pointing out
actually
is
never done this before.
Problem on all platforms, especially regarding cannibalizing traffic. Because at the core of the analysis, and this is something I'm going to go back to time and time again, is are you using your video as a substitute for the original video? If the answer to that is yes, this is a substitute for the original video. Someone would watch your video instead of the original.
Yep.
Then the judge is going to weigh on those scales on the side of this is not fair use, this is not protected, and you are violating your infringing copyright. So this is not something that's black and white. This is not something that is super objective. It is a subjective analysis based on several factors. But that substitute angle is the most important thing you should think about. Are they trying to use this as a replacement for the original? And are they doing it by taking the original wholesale? And that's why I've always said, including on my channel.
You know what's interesting to think about though? It's like, okay, hold on. So what if you have a case, right? So, and I don't know the answer to this because I don't, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know like anything about this kind of stuff. But what if, how does it work in a case where people watch specifically to like see what you say about it? But see, I guess that wouldn't apply if you're not saying, if you have nothing to say at all, then it wouldn't really apply. So like in the case of like Denims, for instance, she intentionally said to watch her thing, which, you know, allegedly she didn't really react to as much. And she's like, yeah, just watch mine instead so you don't have to like give the other guy money or watch any of his things. See, that kind of makes sense to me. But like, what about like cases where people actually wouldn't watch the original video? That they mostly care about like the commentary. But I guess how do you prove that though, right? I don't know. She incriminated herself. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I mean, it all comes down to like they're just being really vile about it, right? These people straight up said to watch it on their channel and not give him views. Yeah. Dude is using his pre-watched powers IRL now too. The intent is important, regardless if people would watch the original video or not. Yeah.
You know, I've said, look, I don't have a problem if anybody clips my stuff, etc. The only thing that is problematic is if you take the entire video with no commentary, no clipping, whatever,
Yeah.
and you just re-upload it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a problem. That is a substitute.
I have only copyright struck one person ever. I've actually done it once on YouTube. And it was because a person uploaded, a person put up my Grand Blue Fantasy guides. They put like a playlist of my Grand Blue Fantasy guides, and then they walked away and they didn't say anything. They just like left it playing on the screen. So I struck them. It's the only person I ever struck.
That is saying, okay, instead of going here, I'm just going to re-upload the video here.
I've had people like comment on it, and like I didn't strike those people, obviously. It was only because he just re-uploaded the video, basically.
That's clearly.
And then that actually isn't the only time. There was another time. There was a person that just literally re-uploaded my video. That's it. He just took like my video, like saved it, and then like re-uploaded it.
Infringement, right? So what these people are going to argue is, okay, well, does sitting in a chair in the corner fundamentally change that? And how much do you need to talk? How much do you need to interact? How much do you need to do in order for that to be transformative? Do you need to talk 10% of the time, 5% of the time, 25% of the time? What ratio of input is necessary?
This is actually good because I actually don't know the answer to this. So I want to hear.
Necessary for something to be transformative. And that's a very important question. And I do feel that there are judges that could think either way. But we're going to get into it because these specific examples are important. But more broadly, a lot of people do this. A lot of people just watch videos, sit in the corner in the little cube, and really don't add much and really don't have much to add. And I'm not even going to point out whether it's educational or not. I'm just talking in general for commentary. Just sitting in the corner and not doing much. Yeah, that's not really adding too much to the overall conversation.
What Lamino had to say about this phenomenon.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work. Or, you know, they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission.
By the way, guys, I'm gonna forward stuff like this because we already watched like the video. So if I'm just gonna forward it if it like kind of is just raw video. I'm gonna forward it if you guys don't mind.
It sometimes is necessary to show the whole thing because you need the context of the whole work. So if you're going to give an opinion, you're going to give a reaction, you're going to comment on something, you want to comment on the entirety. Just commenting on a clip can often be out of context. Oftentimes, if you just take 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 1 minute of something, that's not the full context of the conversation. And in fact, I would encourage people to look at the whole thing, because oftentimes people are not looking at everything they're saying. Now, mind you, maybe looking at like super chats or something else, rewatching a live is not necessary. Okay, whatever. But in general, if someone is trying to give a message, you would want them to fully respond to that. However, you'd want them to actually be contributing a response, right? That's optimistically. But let's continue. And by the
see, the thing is I think the problem here is that the way that Denims and the group, the way was it Denims, Frogan, Casey Tron, right? Those were the three. I don't fucking know people, so like you have to bear with me. I might fuck it up a bit because I don't really. I'm gonna be real. I'd rather be playing video games than looking up drama about people, right? So basically, they kind of, I guess Hassan as well, right? But Hassan's not actually a part of the lawsuits, just those three. But they basically did it in the most egregious way possible, which is a bunch of things. One, barely any commentary. Two, not transforming their work. I guess kind of the same as one, a little bit. And then three, like basically telling people, do not support the original creator, only support me. So it's like they did it in literally the most bad faith way fucking possible. Like open and shut case, completely in bad faith. There's like no way that you can excuse it, right?
I've always said this. If someone is commenting on...
But Hassan is mad even though he's not being sued? Well, yeah, because those are his homies, aren't they? And the thing is like, those are those homies. And a lot of the criticism that he had of them also applied to Hassan. So of course he'd be mad, right? It's sort of attacking him too, like indirectly. Being like kind of calling him out as well.
My stuff, and they watch the whole video. That's fine for me, right? For me, but others may feel differently about that. And many people, by the way, and I'll know by the poll, many people think reaction channels are just content leeches. So we'll see what the poll comes out. I'm gonna leave it up.
Yeah, that's me.
Something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my video.
Content thieves, essentially, get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening. I mean,
well, okay, I'll tell you this. There's one reason why. Number one, the author might be boring as hell. They might be really freaking boring. Sometimes people they're just paint drying. So the person commenting on it can bring the animation, can bring the personality, can bring the comments that really bring it to life. And you see that with certain channels. I think Asmongold is a great example of he can watch something that would be objectively boring otherwise, perhaps, or maybe not that interesting. But then by commenting on it, it brings
really
out
good.
a different facade because you're bringing out a comment on an...
Just a little comment about Asmongold, by the way. It's so funny to me. Like people seeing Asmongold and being like, yeah, Asmongold is he's like extreme right wing, like deep right wing. Dude, that guy is so liberal. It's actually fucking hilarious. Like if you think that Asmongold is like alt-right, far right, dude, you need to touch grass, honestly.
Aspect of something. So saying, hey, this particular thing is interesting, let's talk about that. Or maybe it's something that's not said.
If you think that, you need to maybe consider what it would be like if you didn't have breakfast.
Right. So you're watching a video and they're talking about anything, right? The crime of murder, right? And they're talking about how bad it is, right? But maybe they leave out false convictions and you want to talk about false convictions. There could be something that's brought up that's relevant that's not in the video. So let's continue.
People don't like injustice, and we all see this and know it's not right. This debate culminated when XQC said at all about like
we're gonna forward it to the original video because we've already seen it.
Watch. Okay,
okay. We gotta watch this again though.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
You know the funny thing is though, Yo, those are some nice guns. Damn. The funny thing is though, is I think he was doing this to like make a point, basically. It is pretty entertaining, like, to be honest. To be fair, I know like it's the joke that like he could do this and it would be funny, but like it actually is entertaining. If you like you uploaded this as just like a clip, I feel like it would get tons of views. To be honest,
That's content though. There are some people that would watch a guy do the worm for a week. I'm not gonna lie. The internet's a weird
exactly.
place. Some people would
Just
watch
like
that.
just like
I
what
mean,
Legal Mindset
let's be
said.
real.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's content, man. It's original. I think of that first. I kid excuse, but the ones I am.
So there's a key word he used, and I do love that he used the French because he's Quebecois. That is good. I will say, you know what? I'm going to give it a point on that. One thing he used there, an important word, is malicious. So key in on that word, because that may be the thing that screws the reaction channels that he's suing. And that may be the line that the judge draws between these people infringing and other reaction channels. Because, by the way, I don't think he would win against other reaction channels. I think there's other channels that react to content or watch this whole video that he would lose against. But I think that word malicious may ultimately be the key.
Yeah.
Suing, you'll see, are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hassan reacts when Hassan gets to peers for, they call it.
IDF had warned people to leave.
Yeah, it's him just like leaving.
Well, I've been seeing.
You know, to be honest, I again, I talked about this before. I don't know. Oh, do that fucking Luffy hat, freaking law sword, man. Right here, back here. But like it. Sorry, what I was saying is, I don't know if people still do this, but a lot of VTubers and like streamers do this when they have a subathon. They just go to sleep. They go to sleep and then they just have this going. Like they just put a video up and they leave it on and they go to sleep. And this happened like this was like a thing, a common thing. I don't know if it's still common, but yeah.
I mean, to be honest, in most cases, I just think that's laziness, and that's just the format and maybe the way it lends itself to. There are certain points at which, and I can empathize with this as a law tuber, if we watch, for example, a court case, there are
and thank you for the follow as well, by the way. Thank you.
8-hour-long court case that we have to pee, or we have to go get some food, or we get a phone call, whatever. Something happens during an 8-hour-long court case. You got to get up, you got to do something, you got to use the bathroom. I don't think necessarily getting up once or twice. However, if the majority of the content or the video is an empty chair, or more time is an empty chair,
that actually does make sense. Where like if you're watching like a long thing that has a lot of pauses, that if you just be like, oh, be right back and use the restroom real quick, like that probably is fine. If it's like a really long content, right?
Chair, then you're commenting. Yeah, I do think that could be a potential problem.
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long form, irresistible? It's not that
that's the
people to steal my video. It's that I knew they would.
See that, and that's the defining line, I think, that keeps it. You know, people mention trap, right? Trap versus knowing someone's going to steal. So that's the dividing line. And if you know the channels, it is pretty predictable that they would react to it in that way, because that's what they do. That's what they do with everything, right? So
well, also like I guess he knew that they didn't like him, and that they would intentionally like go out of their way to sabotage him.
If someone does that with everything, it's predictable they would continue to do that with future content.
I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published.
Excuse me, Ethan. I did not react to this. I did not react to that. I did not react to that at all. Do you know why? There was no legal issue in that. So a lot of people wanted me to talk about that and wanted me to get into that. But at that point, it hadn't risen to, is there a legal question here? What's going on? Is this defamation? Because he hadn't said, hey, I'm suing or whatever else. None of that was at stake there. So for me, looking at that, I actually thought at the moment to myself privately, this could escalate into something legal. And I was actually thinking at the moment, is this going to escalate into defamation, slander, some sort of, legal suit over what they're saying about
basically he's like giving like his own angle to it, right? Like he's bringing in like his own expertise as like he's bringing in his own expertise as like a what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Subject matter expert. He's like being a subject matter expert and then commenting on it with that knowledge that he had. Like, so he's bringing something to the table.
Each other. That's the direction I thought. And to be honest, I was surprised when it played out this way, when it played out the copyright angle versus a defamation angle or some other sort of angle. So this is actually, to me, was kind of surprising. And it was an interesting surprise, but actually a pleasant one because it gives me an opportunity to talk about the law in an objective way without going into the personalities themselves. So a pleasant surprise.
Now, the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50.
I'm gonna say it's like basically like they didn't react to it at all.
This is really bad. This is the really bad one. There's having a documented list where you can say, we're going to watch it without supporting H3.
Oof.
It's intentionally.
Wait, but is this, hold on, is this actually their fault though? I mean, did they set this up? How would this be the fault of, I guess, the content creators like Denim, Strogan, and Caseytron?
That's where the word maliciously comes in. Maliciously trying to
Yeah, it's a different person though.
Siphon views and be used as a substitute. That's not good. That's not good. It's not a good look.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe,
yeah, this was bad
throw
though.
a prime.
See, so that's
this
where
was
she
pretty
screws
bad.
herself.
Yeah.
So she's literally,
Guys, who do you think is the most fucked out of the three? I think Denim's is the most fucked out of the three of them.
saying, don't give views to it and give me money. That is the definition of substitute. That's where she screwed herself. She literally saying, I am the substitute. Give me money. I am making money instead.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement if you tried. Denim's the queen of self-owning. You prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress.
Actually, I really want to know what Legal Mindset has to say about this because I don't know what the fuck that means.
Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them.
He would lose. So this is where I think he would lose. I don't think he would win against Asmongold. I think he would 100% lose, probably against SQC as well. Right. I haven't watched SQC's video on this. Watched a little bit of Asmongold's, which is why I can say that. But I'm very certain he would lose against Asmongold.
Just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
They all met this very specific high bar of criteria that I set forth earlier. These people were not targeted based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All three are on this list. In fact, they're the only three, as far as I could tell, that reacted to the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys? Caseytron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
Dog, what do you look? You think
Wait, is this like actually like I don't know anything about Casey Tron. Is this like her actual thing? Like she just smokes weed on stream? Is that like the thing? Like she gets really fucking high and then just streams?
Frogan, who bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom? Do I have permission? Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold up.
Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
I wonder what it was about.
apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happened?
And Denim's the queen of self-owning. And my God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they have been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault I
Man, that's so crazy.
experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier? Yes. That seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part. Let's take a look at the...
Once again, I'm just commenting on the legal stuff, not the opinion stuff or the substantive stuff or the underlying issues, right? So, you know, their individual opinions on their disagreements with each other, et cetera, that's not really relevant to copyright infringement. So no comment.
Complaints. And let's start with my favorite of the three, the very own, the prestigious...
Yeah, I can't shut up. I just comment about everything.
The highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Casey Tron.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're going to watch it.
Oof.
Well, that's a really dumb thing to say, don't you think?
Yes, he's correct about that. Her saying that without supporting Ethan Klein, once again, that's a substitute nature. So that's where he gets into, that's where he's hitting it on the head. And that's, you know, I assume Ethan has had a...
it's also just like, it's bad optics too, right? It's like, if you say stuff like that, they're not going to have any, like, sympathy for you.
Has had a conversation with his lawyers. Unlike many other creators who just get on and blab and run their mouth, this is a pre-recorded video. It's not a live. So I'm sure he sat down and had a conversation with his lawyers. I'm sure his lawyers watched this video and they're like, yep, looks good. Send it out. So, you know, that's something that is a check mark in his box on that side.
Tron smokes 42 times during her reaction. And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that that could be true. Well, we tallied them up. And lo and behold, there's 15 minutes, 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking.
You guys want a little hot take on this? It's a little hot take. And I'm sorry if this offends you. This might offend some of you in chat. Whenever I see someone like smoking like this, like just like the smoke and just I just think like, man, what a fucking dumbass. Like that's the first thing that comes into my mind. I'm just like, man, this person's retarded.
She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
The complaint continues. Indeed, Casey Tron is often too obliterated to comment on the new and instead stares blank.
See that? This is good. This is good legal writing. Like putting obliterated. The word.
I didn't even notice that the first time. I kind of like glanced over that, but dude, that wording is strong. Obliterated.
word obliterated is funny, but it's not inappropriate.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
not
That's
inaccurate.
amazing.
It's good legal writing. This is very good legal writing. At one
Okay,
point she's-
so what I'm getting is that good legal writing is when you talk just enough shit that it's funny, but then it's still like within like a legal meaning, basically.
wasted. Like, once again, it just makes you chuckle a little bit, right? And that's what the judge is doing. The judge is a human being. They're not a robot.
Stating outright that her intention of doing this is so that people who don't want to support me can watch it through her is why copyright infringement laws exist. You could not and should not do that,
Yeah,
especially if your
thank
commentary
you for the
consists
bits. Thank
of
you,
you
Chase.
taking bong loads.
When legal jargon meets wit, yeah, I think a lot of people can appreciate that, like the kind of like witty jab, right? I think everyone sees that, and I think it's a good look, you know.
With the content. Whoa, what was that? Oh, sorry, that was a flying star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys.
And what is good here, and this is something that was pointed out over my locals, I do like that he's like let me page back here a little bit.
Frogan. It almost got me. You know her and you love.
Okay. I do like that he's showing the complaint because she's showing he actually filed. You know, when you see the complaint, you know it's real. You know it's filed. It's not just talking smack. It's not just something that that you're thinking about doing. You've actually filed. You've actually filed. It's great.
Love her, guys. Frogan. Reaction by exiting. Here she is getting up to leave the video running as she steps out of the room. Is that transformative? We'll decide. She said, quote, "It's time to watch the new nuke ethically. Hell yeah." Huh. Very
What
smart
is that?
to say
Was
on
that-
camera, by the way.
What do you mean
She said,
ethically?
quote, "Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. Thank you
But
for
like, how
watching."
do they like? Do they actually believe what they're saying? Like, what do they mean by ethically? Like, if you watch it with her, like you're a good person, specifically. It's fucking weird. It's like I feel like these psycho like leftist people have like basically flipped like what is good and what is bad. Like they'll do like the most vile thing possible and be like, yeah, that was a good thing. I'm a good person for being like vile. And like I feel like they're always like this. Oh, like you did like a good person thing. Like, wow, you're disgusting. You're a bad person. You're bad. And then like they do something absolutely fucking vile. And then they're like, I'm such a good person. Wow, look at me, pat me on the back and stuff like that. They've completely flipped it. They went full like Uno reverse on like anything good and anything bad.
Watching it with me. Well, you are so welcome, and I'm so glad that you were able to enjoy that day. As lazy and pathetic as her reaction is, this is not why she's getting sued. This is.
Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me. First time viewer, time to watch the nuke ethically. Hell yeah. I found my way from Reddit. Hi guys, welcome Reddit people. Reddit people, Reddit people. I came from the issue Stark Reddit. Ethan is so pathetic. While his son is in Japan, I'm bothered having a great time. Exactly. We're gonna watch it live, yes. He doesn't want people to know when it's dropping because we're all watching through other streamers. And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
It's the
See that's the
Yep.
that's the
Oof.
comment. That's the comment that damns her right there. It's not the chair stuff. It's that comment. I actually think that's the thing that the judge could come down and say, "Yep," because you literally said that. You said, I would advise you don't watch his video and you watch us. That might be the thing that they draw the line. And
It's
say,
malicious.
That's where these people crossed over. See, Denims did it.
It's absolutely malicious. 500 Rickman, thank you so much for the bits, man. In the mind of a leftist, it's not about what you do, it's about who you do it to. Yeah. Again, it's like it's not really principled, right? Remember the very old saying, no bad tactics, only bad targets. Yeah. It's not principled, like I said. None of it is. Well, I guess you know what? I might be wrong. It might be principled, but the principle is just weak. The principle is just, like you said, I can do whatever to people I disagree with, and then, then morality applies to people I do agree with. Yeah. So yeah. I guess it is kind of consistent in that way.
She did it there. Very clear that she wanted to substitute for Ethan's video.
I learned not to steal when I was 5. Up next is denims. And honestly, just take a look at this, guys. It's a nightmare on Denim Street. Not only did she...
Okay, that's kind of... I think they... Okay. Okay. Real quick, the Casey Tron one, she smoked more than she spoke. That was funny. Nightmare on Denim Street. I think that's a little pushing it. That's a little pushing it.
Yeah,
They could come up
I
with a better one
agree.
than that. I'm gonna objection on that one. I mean, I like the legal humor, but that one, I don't know.
It
Denim
falls
said,
a little
quote,
flat. It's a
"Well,
little
guys,
bit like
if you enjoyed not
it's
giving
not as
any
witty,
views
right?
to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content. Your content? The Queen of Self-Own and countdown timer, so we could tell exactly how long she was away. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
Man.
Yeah, you do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
Dude, you should do this.
I have an alternate.
You'll forward it a little bit here, guys.
If you're somewhere else. Hello? So to be honest, I did not want to watch that.
By the way,
Images is something that's where we get into. So
content. That is like chef kiss. By the way,
so that's where we get into. So somebody mentioned statutory damages. So statutory damages is something that's prescribed by the statute. But beyond that, you can say, hey, I lost revenue, and the revenue they gained, I would have had. So you can make that argument for that revenue in addition to the statutory damages. See, so there's a large amount of damages just because there's statutory
I think
damages.
there is like a case for that, because they literally said, do not watch him, watch me and give me money. So it's like, I think they
Doesn't
probably
mean
could.
You're precluded from going after compensatory damages.
Yeah, it seems
or other
very
forms of
solid.
damages, right? So that's an additional. It's like an and one. It's an extra point. It's a it's more right than you would normally get. So that's a good thing. At least for
damage.
Ethan, if he wins.
Always delivering the goods. She went on this dude's podcast to debate fair use. And would you be surprised if I told you she said a lot of incriminating things in that podcast? The Queen of Self-Own never disappoints.
I want to be clear on my opinion on like filler content and stuff. Like, I think filler content, like, you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a react stream, and I try to do it only when I do it with like Vox videos or Vice.
Well, I mean, they just play this. They just play this in court, and she's like, yeah, I think it was bad what I was doing.
Videos and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, she really is the Queen of Self-Own. Holy crap.
Because at least I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team and stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like, I guess, bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very bad about doing that to like a single content creator.
That's not how the law works.
Yeah.
By the
it's
way,
not
that's
about like
how
the
law
magnitude
works.
of it.
The law doesn't care whether you are a large creator or whether you're a small creator, and that's not going to matter at all. Her feelings, once again, and like what she says there, she says repeatedly, her feelings. I would feel. The law doesn't give a shit about your feelings.
Yep.
It is what it is, right? Regardless of whether you feel bad about it or not. Some people don't feel bad about stealing, but that's still a crime, right? Some people don't feel bad about
Is it?
murder. It's still a crime.
Depends what city you're in.
Whether you feel bad about it or not.
That, my friend, is called theft. And you're a thief. And now I'm suing you. This is just a testimony to how brazen and how safe they've, gotten. That she thinks she can go out in public on video and say, like, I'm stealing this content because I want to. I'm coping even though I know it's stealing. When people watch it with me, they're definitely not.
You want to know the problem? This is the problem. They've gotten away with shit so much on Twitch where, people have gotten blown up on Twitch, like Tectone, for instance, Asmongold, people who have been blown up on Twitch. They have gotten away with so much that other people have gotten blown up for, that they believe that they're fucking invincible. But the critical error that they made is believing that everywhere is Twitch. So like, now that this is no longer Twitch, they're not protected. That's the misjudgment that they made.
Gonna go watch the original. Like, you are way too comfortable committing crimes out in the open. Well, there you have it.
I do appreciate. He said that is not a crime; it's a civil offense. Yes, that is a good. His lawyer probably caught that one. You can tell the lawyer watched this one because that is a good clarification. It is not a crime; it is a civil offense.
3 separate lawsuits for 3 separate geniuses. Now, I want to make it clear again, and I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these 3 people and not others. These people not only violated all of the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously.
Yep.
And that's the part that really got me.
And I think anyone will see it, will be able to watch this footage and like understand that it's malicious, obviously.
I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original.
By the way, guys, this video is by Legal Mindset. Check out Legal Mindset. There's a lot of good videos on law stuff. I've been watching them off stream for their Johnny Somali coverage. Very, very good. Very, very good. Wait, is that's him, right? Am I wrong? Yeah, it is him. It is him. It is him. Yeah, on the Johnny Somali coverage. So I've been watching that with my mom off stream.
Video. I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing. And
okay, so now he's talking. He's making a moral argument here. So I'm gonna push back up.
I gotta post it on Kick too. There you go, Kick.
A little bit against Ethan, a little bit. He is now making a moral argument. This is not the law. The law is not good faith effort.
I used to watch that other lawyer guy, but apparently he went crazy. I don't actually know like what the truth is there, but I used to watch this. I remember watching the coverage about the what was his name? The voice actor dude, and then like the Bulma chick, and then they were like getting in a big fight. Yeah. I was watching his coverage of that.
It's transformative.
Vic.
And transformative, Vic, could be something that he might not consider a good faith effort, but it might still transform the content, right? So that's a little bit. He's going into an area where, okay, I see where you're going, and you're leaning on the moral side. If your definition of good faith effort is transformative, okay, yes, but that's not necessarily where the line is drawn. But I see what he's getting at.
And that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. Take it to these 3 absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care. What I do hope, though, is that you'll support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great time. I'll see you around.
Okay, so
that actually is kind of funny. That actually is kind of funny because that's probably true. Is that like the money is going to go straight from if he wins, the money will go straight from all of those GoFundMe things, and it's going to be like her community basically. Actually, dude, they're probably not even going to pay anything. Now that I'm thinking about it, they're probably not even going to pay anything. They're just going to pass on the costs to their viewers.
Video there. That's what we
crazy.
have for that one.
6D chess, yeah, for real.
Interesting. I think once again, my final assessment here is that Ethan does have a chance to get past the motion to dismiss, to get past the slap statutes, and to get to discovery. I don't know whether he will ultimately prevail at trial, but I do think he has a good shot. I think he has a very, very good shot with these 3 specific targets. And I will say at the end, he said, how are they picked? I mean, people will also say, and I see people saying in the super chats that they're all, Hassan orbiters. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, there's a personal grudge, but he did not choose to go after Hassan. He chose to go after these specific people. And those statements were very damning, very damning.
Yeah. I mean, it does look like it. And then, I mean, if Legal Mindset says it, I mean, he obviously knows more than I do in terms of like the law. So if he says that they're fucked, I already thought they were fucked in the first place. So I guess they are fucked. We'll see. It'll be really, really interesting.